Your community, your world, your radio station. 107.9 FM, WWPH in Princeton Junction.
Welcome back to the Divine 107.9. We've got a very special show to kick off our Teacher Appreciation or Administration Appreciation Week here. My name is Eliana.
I'm Ryan.
And we have...
Mr. Covington.
Ms. Rodriguez. And Ms. Cincotta.
So for anyone who doesn't know SELF as well, these are our vice principals and our principal. Very big deals here at SELF. And not only are they very obviously engaged with our school here, but with all of their kids' sports as well. And they all coach some of their kids' sports. So we're going to talk a little bit about that first.
Okay, so my son plays soccer and basketball, and I actually coach his rec basketball team, which is 3rd grade through 5th grade. I live over in Hopewell, and so we did a winter league the past couple of years, and then I'm coaching his spring hoops, as they call it, this year. And I'm very proud to say that we are currently 6-0. We have no practices. We only play games. It's a very serious league.
Yeah, that sounds like the ideal sports season to me. So
it works well as a parent to not have to schedule 2 nights a week, but just typically 1 night a week, and just a game, an hour, and so far, we're coming out with the W's. So,
yeah, I can't say that the lacrosse team is doing quite that well this year, but volleyball's been doing good. Ms. Rodriguez, how's your coaching?
So my boys do sports that I don't coach any longer. They're into lacrosse and wrestling as their big sport. But for about a year, my younger son got into soccer, and that was my passion. So I got to coach him for 2 different seasons, rec soccer, organizing practices for that young age, 2nd grade, and 3rd graders was a challenge. We had a ton of fun, and you set, small goals, and you have those victories every single day. So it was a lot of fun coaching Griffin in soccer and watching them grow as athletes.
Awesome. And how about you, Mr. Covington?
Coach, one, I just want to say I think that the reason why our admin team does so well and gets along so well is that we all have sports backgrounds. So it's not a surprise that we all like to coach. Like, it's part of our job. We coach high school students into being young adults every day. So just to be able to extend that, in our personal lives with our kids. I have 2 children. I coach them in soccer, basketball, and my son plays baseball. It's fun. That's the number one thing. I just try to be fun for, everyone. My goal is that they want to come back. If anything, the kid who's the least happy on the team is my own kid, because they're the only one who gets, not fun dad. But we how we end every baseball practice is we have a dance party. The practice player of the game practice player of the day gets to pick the song that we all dance to. Never heard of Skibbity Toilet before this, but now I know.
Yeah, that's a true classic right there. I think I might ask Coach Klugerman and Mastrani if we can do that after our game today. Maybe end with a dance break.
Doctor, my heart hurts. Well then, Jesse, let me check it out.
What's wrong with me, Doc?
Well, Jesse, 107.9 FM obviously isn't first in your heart.
What's 107.9 FM?
Well, only the best station ever. So, Jesse, tune in to the station that's last on the dial and check back with me in a month. One month later.
How is it, Doc?
Sounds like you're cured, Jesse. And the moral of the story is...
always tune into the station that's last on the dial, but first in your heart, 107.9 FM, WWPH in Princeton Junction.
How about the Pirate in the Night? It's 107.9 FM. And we are back to talk a little bit about summer plans. I think we all know, although maybe I forget sometimes, that all of our administrators and teachers, of course, have a totally different life outside of the school building itself. So we're going to dive into a couple of plans for when school ends on the 26th.
So my family and I, we bought a home in Maine a few years ago in Acadia National Park. So that is the place that we try to get to as often as we can. Of course, continuing to balance it with sports lives and commitments that are, here in New Jersey and wherever else. But we try to get up for about 3 to 4 weeks total. I can't get up there for that much time, but I go as much as possible. The just outdoors life, disconnection from technology, family time is something that we need, of course, with the busy life down here in New Jersey. But the hiking and the boating, kayaking, fishing, the boys would be on the lake from sun up to sundown if they could, fishing the entire time. So we have a great time up there, and lots of family and friends always come up and visit us all summer.
That's awesome. I know my dad's family is from New Hampshire, and so that's like after me and my brother are out of the house, that's their end game. They're like, we're going to move over up there and start spending more time outside.
I do the total opposite. I am the master of the staycation. We have a pool. We are in it almost every single day. Between that and we doing baseball during the summer, that pretty much fulfills it. Like, the kids do summer camp. We'll do day trips to Ocean City, but the staycation is where the Covingtons spend their time.
Yeah, and I think that's another great option as well. I definitely grew up in summer camps for most of my summers, basically up until high school, and I think that it builds a lot of character and kind of teaches you how to handle yourself in different environments for sure.
Do you work summer camps now that you're in high school?
I did work summer camp 1 year, but the pay was not maybe ideal for that summer.
Well, I saw you in here on Take Your Child to Work Day, and you had a lot of different kids working and interested in everything, so you seem like you would be a great summer camp. I'm sorry that the pay was not matching the what was needed.
Yes, that's okay. I volunteer at a nursery every Sunday, so that's where I get my kid interaction from.
They're lucky. They're lucky.
And what about you? What are you doing this summer, Miss Cincotta?
Well, I do stick around, and I do like a staycation, and I'm very lucky that my family has a place in the Poconos up by Lake Wallenpaupack, and so we try to go up there. Mostly for me, it's long weekends, and so because we're in school so late this year, July 4th is right around the corner when school ends. And actually, my whole family I'm from Illinois, and so I have family in Illinois, and then my sister lives in Minnesota. They're all coming out to stay. So it will not be a vacation at all. It will be a family invasion, but it'll be a great way to start the summer, but we'll all be there.
And Ryan, do you have anything to add about your summer?
Yeah, I have a beach house in Seaside that we go to, and then my entire extended family is going to Outer Banks over the summer, which should be fun.
Yeah, I have probably the most eventful summer that I've ever had, and right after graduation, I'm headed out to Japan with some of my childhood friends, and so we're going to take 2 weeks there. I'm very excited. And I'm also very excited for our next talk, where our administrators are going to tell us a little bit about their favorite memories from their high school experience. We'll be right back.
Katie, where were you all day?
I was so tired I slept a couple extra hours. I had to save up my energy for the big soccer game tonight.
Katie,
What?
you can't play in the game.
Why not? I'm like the best striker there.
You weren't in school long enough.
What? I came in for the last period of the day.
I know, but according to the student handbook, a student must be present for at least 4 hours of school in order to participate in after-school activities such as clubs, dances, and sports. A message from 107.9 FM, WWPH in Princeton Junction.
It's always a great time on the Divine 107.9, and next up we get to hear a little bit about our administrators' high school life and their favorite memory from high school. So, who wants to start? I know Mr. Covington's. Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll start, but can I go middle school instead of high school?
Fine.
Okay, so I said I was from Illinois. I'm from a tiny, tiny town, right? I have like 600 people in my town. So, context, my high school had about 110 kids total in the high school. So that would mean, less for the middle school. But when I was in middle school, I was in 8th grade. My sister was in 6th grade. And we both played basketball. You had an 8th grade team and then a 7th grade team, that's 6th and 7th grade team. And both teams were like so good. We were really good. And we went all the way to state, which is, it's a slightly different process. But that's a huge thing for a tiny little town. And so we were in middle school, and then we had these like fan buses, and we had to drive 3 hours. In middle school, that's a really long way. And play games, so my sister was on the 6th grade team, I was on the 8th grade team, and her team won state, and my team got 3rd in state, and we had fan buses, we had everything. It was like, or all the cars would wait for us to come into town, and then they would form like a whole line, and everybody would honk going through town. It was like we were celebrities. I mean, we thought we were, and then I recently went back to high school That 8th grade picture is still up in the sports case, which also might tell you a lot about my school. That it's quite a bit smaller now, and they've had plenty of accomplishments since then, and I think it's time it should come down. But it was quite shocking that my 11-year-old could see my 8th grade team picture. And yes, I was still very tall when I was in 8th grade.
So I'll share a sports memory as well. I grew up locally. I went to Cranberry School, K-8, and then I went to Princeton High School. And soccer was my biggest sport. I did play other sports as well, but some of the best memories with the girls' soccer team at Princeton High School, we were really good. We had a couple of seasons that 17-2-1 type records where teams haven't quite surpassed that yet. Not that I didn't coach better teams than what I played for. But the sleepovers and the pasta nights and all of those get-togethers as a team, I think is something that has been lost on high school sports at this point. And those are my fondest memories of being able to, really develop friendships and camaraderie with a group of girls that easily, excelled us on the soccer field. I don't think we would have been near as strong if we didn't have that tight-knit group. We had some fun times together. We did scavenger hunts. We played a game. Again, we're driving. Not recommending all of this stuff, but times were different then too. We had a game where you had to get something bigger than the last people. So you would get some object, you'd bring it back to the house, and then the next group would one-up you. And then, by the end we were returning to the house with pretty large objects in the back of our car. So lots of really good times, and also really competitive soccer that I'll never forget those times.
Every day was a memory for me in high school. Without incriminating myself or anybody who I hung with, there's a lot of sports memories. I'm sure people who know me would. I feel like this is braggadocious, or I guess I'll just say the cliche answer. I guess winning homecoming game was probably the coolest moment that I can remember. Just like a gym full of people chanting your name. It's something that you don't forget. That's probably to keep names protected from every other good high school memory.
Those are some really unique memories for sure. I don't know what I was expecting, but those are all super cool. Ryan, you got one from South so far?
No, but I'm extremely excited. We have our big charity game for volleyball coming up next Friday. And I remember my freshman year, it was packed. I mean, they filled the entire north bleachers, so I'm really excited for that. What about you? Because you're almost out of here.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't really think about that when everyone else was talking, so I should have probably done that. But I think that there's just something very unique about South and just the energy that's here. And I think, just kind of meeting a lot of new people every single day and, vibing with everyone. I think going out to lunch is very good. I haven't been late back, I think, at all so far this year. Feeling good about that one. So, yeah, I think that just, the vibe that South brings and all the spirit days and everything that we have here.
You're listening to WWPH 107.9 FM in Princeton Junction.
Yeah, baby! Yeah.
It's the Divine 107.9. We're back for our last little segment of today. We're going to start with Mr. Covington and Miss Rodriguez to ask them what their favorite aspect here at High School South is.
My favorite aspect, it's an easy one. It's just, I think it's overlooked these days. Just generally how nice everyone is here. You're going to see somebody new every single day. Everyone smiles. They say hello. That's rare. Being in other districts, being in other schools, the adults say hello, the children say hello, the students say hello. It's just refreshing to be in a spot where everyone's just polite and nice to each other.
So I love the energy that High School South brings every single day, the staff and the students. It's like organized chaos, and sometimes we have to rein it in a little bit more, and sometimes we let it loose. But I'm not a fan of walking into a school building and seeing nothing down a long hallway and hearing nothing in classrooms. So anytime I have to leave this place and go to a different school for whatever reason, I can't wait to get back and hear the noise in the commons or in the open space.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I'm definitely going to miss next year is just, seeing those friendly faces and hearing everything all around South. And for our last little piece here, we're going to ask Miss Cincotta, who is, moving up after this year, what her favorite memory at Self has been over the years.
Okay, so picking a favorite memory is super hard, but I have been asked this question, so I've thought a little bit about things, and I'm trying to drop little nuggets, along the way, because there are too many to name. But where Ms. Rodriguez just said organized chaos, the view of the organized chaos, and I use the same two words to describe it, and in its glory and wonderful feeling that it gives me to be here, the view from the mezz is like a favorite memory because it's an ever-evolving memory as well, but it's where you don't get that view anywhere else or in any other school. And so the view from the mezz during homecoming when it's fully decorated on Friday morning, right? That's a thing. The view from the mezz when we have a lunchtime band playing or a student group playing because it's homecoming week as well, or because they just got together and wanted to play some music and it's lunchtime. And they ask first, by the way. They always ask first. But that view from up above with homecoming week when it's wear your class color day and it's lunch. And there's predominantly one color in Commons 1, but you get these sprinkles of the other colors. One time, I'm kind of known to people in open space, to teachers in open space, of like finding places to sit and just catch up on email or things because I might have been in my office for a long time, and so I like to leave and just try to get some work done. And I get to see kids, hear teaching, hear classrooms, and I'm not in my office, which is important for me. And I remember one time Ms. Galazin was out, and so I went up to her room and just sat at the table in the back of her classroom and worked there. Usually I sit at the large tables in math or social studies. And I even sent her a picture while I was up there. I said, look where I'm working today. I didn't want to disrupt any of her things, but it was like I could be in the middle of everything, but not have to interrupt anything type of setting. And so, I can still picture that because that memory is so fresh. So it's the views from the mezz are, amazing and a part of everything that is South.
All right. Thank you so much. That's a very unique answer, and I'm glad that we got something different from the Pirate's Eye as well, so our listeners can go read their newspaper too. Thank you so much again for coming in and starting off our Teacher Week, Teacher Month appreciation. Probably going to go into June maybe too, overall. Once again, this has been Eliana.
And Ryan.
Oh, Mr. Covington.
Ms. Rodriguez.
And Ms. Cincotta.
And you've been listening to 107.9 FM, WPH in Princeton Junction.